today's topic of discussion is a woman's role in a relationship. But some of you guys may be thinking, why isn't Omar in front of his whiteboard? He's usually got his pen, he's moving it around, and he's just got his key words on there. So for the next month or so, I'm going to be creating content here in Pakistan, and I think it's important to just create content which is organic, content which isn't filtered, it's not edited, it's just raw and legit. Because a lot of guys out there with the content creators, they tend to just put on a facade, put on a front, put on an image, try and put all the good bits in there, the best bits, and there's just no authenticity anymore. So that's what it is with my content. I'm going to be creating it organic and just raw. So I've got my other phone, right? I'm going to be looking at that when it comes to some notes. So with this video, right, it's about a woman's role in a relationship. So the first point is, some of you guys may be thinking, what is a woman's role in a relationship? Because you've got many guys and girls, they're jumping into, let's say, a relationship. They haven't actually discussed their roles from the get-go. And I think that's just really important to establish that. So anytime you guys are speaking to a woman for marriage purposes, is to ask one of the key questions, which is, what is your role in the relationship? So as a woman, what's her role? And then what's your role as well as a man? Because over here, right, men of value, guys who want to be the best version of themselves, we want to be the sole providers and protectors of women. Now this is a key component when it comes to being a masculine man. A lot of these guys, right, in, let's say, the content videos, you know, all these dating videos and so on, a lot of them talk about, you need to do this to be a masculine man, you need to go out there and get your money, and then so on, and all this other. A lot of times it's just BS, it's a facade, it's just not genuine. A lot of guys, what they'll do is, they'll get, let's say, their money, right, get their money, pay bills, spend it on like cars, houses, clothes, and just splash all of that money. And then when it comes to their partner's working a full-time job. Now, how does that make any sense in terms of a relationship? So you as a man, right, if you're somebody who's making his money, he's going out there, performing, becoming the best version of himself, why aren't you trying to facilitate a traditional household? This is what the issue is right now when it comes to men, is because men are not following their purpose, they don't know what their role is, and by default a woman's not going to know what her role is. Do you understand, guys? So it's really important. That's why with my content, I'm trying to get the men in line. So once I get the men in line, they're working on the purpose, grinding day in, day out, you guys are going to be able to provide value to the relationships, and you're going to be providing more value to your relationships. And then you can just have the option to choose out of all the women. There's plenty of women to choose from once you are a traditional man. This is what a lot of guys won't tell you in other videos. It's like when you are a man who's actually a masculine man, who's well-rounded, so you're somebody who's mentally strong, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, like I've mentioned in the previous videos, you guys are going to develop genuine relationships, because you're going to know your purpose, you're going to have your priorities straight, you're going to have discipline, and you're overall going to be a better human being. That's what the most important thing is. You know, each and every single day, improving, being the best version of yourself. So I'm going to be referring back to my phone as well, just checking that every now and then, just to keep on track, because I don't want to just start waffling on. So when it comes to, let's say, a woman's role, right, one of the questions that you guys should be asking is, how do you provide value to this relationship? How are you going to provide value to this relationship? Now, if a woman doesn't turn around and say something along the lines of supporting my husband on his purpose, being able to be like a homemaker, somebody who's in line with purpose, do you understand? So like as in supporting the man's purpose, supporting you guys' purpose, then chances are she's not the right woman. She's been conditioned and programmed by society. So a lot of these women, right, have been raised to be disobedient wives, disobedient women in general. They want to just do their own thing. So they'll say, oh, I want to get a job, I want to travel, I want to, gain all these experiences. But when it comes to, let's say, the relationship and you guys and supporting you on your purpose, they don't want to do that. They don't want to provide that value because they don't understand it. They've been told literally, you as a girl, go out there, do your own thing, get your education, get your job, make your money. Now, that's just led to an increase in divorces as time has gone on now. It's like more and more women are becoming independent, boss babe type women. And these supposed boss babes, they are poor at money management. A lot of these videos that you guys are seeing on, let's say, social media, on the internet and so on, these people here, right, are literally just living from paycheck to paycheck. So whatever money that comes in, right, on the month, they'll just blow all of that money and then they'll just do the same thing again next month. And then obviously you guys know that you got the beta males who are literally funding this lifestyle and pushing this out there. So the beta males are sat in the back, sending all the money to them, transferring all the money over to them, and it's not creating obedient wives, it's creating disobedient wives. That's what the issue is. So when it comes to, let's say, education and then career, do you guys find that attractive? Because 9 times out of 10, right, let's say a woman works in Starbucks, or if a woman works in a corporation as some sort of accountant. When you look at both women, let's say the Starbucks woman, she's somebody who's young, attractive, caring, loving, she's got feminine qualities about her. But then you've got example B, the corporation woman. She's, let's say, earning more, but she can be argumentative, she can be, let's say, moody, just doesn't want to support you on your purpose. Which one's more attractive? Now for majority guys, it's going to be obviously example A, isn't it? Example A. So you're not really going to care about a woman's job title, because if she doesn't have those feminine qualities and she doesn't support you on your purpose, it doesn't bring any benefit to the relationship. It doesn't provide no benefit to the relationship. That's what the issue is. So let's look at 2. So the second point that I've written is a woman's role in terms of being a mother. Now, how many women now in today's society do you guys see who say that they want to be mothers? They want to be a mum to children. I would say probably less than 10-20% of women that you guys are going to come across actually will say that to you guys in a marriage meeting, or if you guys are doing dating or whatever you guys are doing when you're speaking to a woman. She's not going to turn around and say, oh yeah, I want to have children, I want to be a caregiver, I want to be a nurturer, as somebody who's just prioritizing that and then supporting my man. How many of those women do you guys hear saying that? Not that many, isn't it? So when it comes to being a mother, that right there takes more of a priority than a woman trying to get, let's say, all these experiences related to holidays, cars, handbags, flipping purses, and all this other BS, tangible rubbish. A lot of those things don't give satisfaction and they don't give fulfillment. That's why you see a bunch of these women, right, who are, let's say, working in these corporations. They are trying to get this money even though they ain't really earning a lot. So I've mentioned from the previous videos that if you guys look at the stats when it comes to UK salaries, less than 10% of all people in the UK are earning above 63k. So 1 in 10 people. So the rest of the people are earning less than that, and 50% of people are earning £25,000 or less. So it's 50% of people of 25k, then after that it's 41k, so that's 25% of people, and then after that 10% is 63k. So whatever you guys are seeing on the internet, 9 times out of 10 it's just BS and it's just lies. It's just not legit. It's not real. This is weird. That's why a lot of the content I'm seeing on, let's say, Instagram, social media, it just goes in one ear, comes out the other, because a lot of these guys are just fronting, they're putting on a fake image. So let's go to point 3 now. Okay, so this is a good one. So point 3 is, how many women do you guys know that are willing to cooperate with you guys? Now, what do I mean by cooperate? A woman who's cooperative and submissive. So let's say you give an instruction to tell the woman, okay, can you go to, let's say, Tesco and grab some apples? Can you do that for us, please? And then she turns around and says, no, we don't need apples. You should have gotten apples. Why didn't you get them yesterday? And then she just, let's say, at home, and then you're being a sole provider, and she just doesn't want to do that, and she just wants to argue with you guys. That woman right there is somebody who isn't cooperative and isn't submissive. Every single small instruction and small order that you guys give, she's just going to want to argue. Now that doesn't benefit you guys, and it doesn't provide value to you guys, because it's effectively affecting your productivity. Because you as a man, right, your purpose and your mission is stressful enough. Now if a woman is constantly arguing about every decision that you guys are making, and she's constantly nitpicking, and she's constantly just overrunning all your instructions and orders, that's just gonna create further problems in the relationship. You know, it's not beneficial at all. So that's why certain times you guys are going to need to filter these women and realize that these women here, right, majority of them, they are not willing to follow orders. They just don't want to do it. They have been so programmed, as I mentioned earlier on, that they just want to literally fight against you guys. Now the best way to handle this is simply through checking the behavior, as I've mentioned from the other videos. Check the behavior and then no contact. So them two there. So check the behavior. You tell her, look, I don't appreciate how you're being disrespectful right now. I'm not even asking you, I'm giving you a clear instruction here that I would like you to go to Tesco and get some apples for us, please. And then if she's not trying to do that, and she ain't got no legitimate excuse, like, we're not talking about if she's ill or if she's sick, because, you know, we're not like just inhumane, do you understand? But if this woman here genuinely is able to go to the store, which is like, let's say 5-10 minutes away, and she's not willing to do that, and she just can't be bothered, and she just wants to argue, then that's a problem, isn't it? So let's go to example 4 now. So making sure that the house is taken care of now. So when it comes to, let's say, a woman's role right now, you've got guys and girls, they are both going to work. So they're both working, let's say, a 9 to 5, coming home exhausted, because let's be honest here, it's not a 9 to 5 anyway. In general, it takes, let's say, hour and a half certain times to get to work and then get home from work. So let's say on average an hour. So within an hour. So let's say you guys take trains, or you take a bus, or then even if you take car, you still get, let's say, stuck in traffic certain times. That right there is, let's say, 10 hours shift. But some people are working, let's say, 12 hours. So you're looking at about 13-14 hours of your day gone from work alone. And then when you come home, right, and there's no food that's been cooked, the house hasn't been taken care of, it's a mess, you're going to be thinking to yourself, why am I paying for somebody else in this house to be living here when they can't even be bothered to take care of it? You know, so this is what it is. You got certain people, certain women who are literally just leeching off of these guys. And that's what these guys are. These guys are the beta males, because they are not telling women from the get-go, before they even get into a relationship. You tell a woman, look, this is what I'm expecting from a relationship. Now, if you're not going to be somebody who's trying to take care of the household chores and being able to do the cooking and cleaning and then raising the children, why am I paying for you to be living it? You know, it don't make no sense. It doesn't matter how good looking a woman is, how attractive she is, how she's, whatever image you guys have got of her. If she hasn't got those basic fundamentals down on lock, you guys are never going to have peace of mind in your relationship. You're never going to be fully satisfied with that. You know, so that's what's happening right now. Unfortunately, we've got men who just don't know their role in a relationship, and then you've got women who are just not taking care of supporting the man on his purpose and taking care of the household. You understand? So just to wrap up, so I'm just going to go through the points briefly again. So when it comes to, let's say, a woman's role, you guys here should be expecting a woman to say, I want to support my man on his purpose and mission. Do you understand? And try and help him on his journey. So letting the man lead in his position. So a man leads and then a woman follows. Do you understand, guys? So it's really important. So the woman understands that. And then if she doesn't understand that, you're going to need to tell her, look, this is what I'm looking for. And then she'll either agree with it or disagree with it. If she disagrees with it, move on to another woman. Because this is the fundamentals when it comes to being a traditional man. Because a traditional man provides traditional benefits. If you want a modern day relationship, which is today, then you're going to be getting a woman to pay towards the bills and doing like 50-50 type stuff, which never works out anyway. It never ends well. So second point was, you want to test a woman and ask her questions on being a mother. So what would she like to become in the future? Where does she see herself in 5-10 years time? Now if she turns around and says, oh, I would like to just travel with my husband, I want to gain these experiences, I want us to get a house, guess what? She just wants a better male provider. Now a better male provider is somebody who just literally pays the bills, takes orders, gets disrespected, and then a woman just walks all over him like a doormat. Now you guys here are not going to be that, because you're going to be filtering these women properly. Do you understand, guys? So next point after that was about a woman who's like caring, loving, submissive, cooperative. Does she have those type of qualities, or is she somebody who's just disobedient and just wants to do her own thing? Now you guys are going to come across certain examples which I mentioned with, let's say, the Starbucks woman, and then a woman who works for a corporation and she's, let's say, an accountant. But Starbucks woman, she's a lot more submissive, caring, loving. She's got a lot more feminine qualities about her, because reason being, she's not in the masculine environment like the corporation. So with a woman, accountant woman, she's in a masculine environment with other men. Now anyone with, let's say, Gita, so Gita means protectiveness over their wife. They don't want their wife to be associating and just mixing around with all these men. And then it gets to the point, right, where these men are texting her, they're telling her, oh, come to this, let's go out for a coffee, let's go out for flipping lunch. And then before you know it, they are fornicating with one another. This is what's happening in today's society. A lot of the cheating that's taking place is in the work environments, unfortunately. So next point after that is making sure that the house is taken care of. So that's really important when it comes to, let's say, being a mother, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the husband, supporting him on his purpose. So that links back to supporting him on his purpose, and just overall, just a good, friendly environment. You know, men don't ask for much. It's not difficult to try and please a man. Do you understand? It's just literally have a hot meal, give him a bit of peace of mind, and just provide feminine, good energy. But unfortunately, many women don't want to do that in today's time. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.